Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 80 of Crunch Time. I'm going to be your host for today's episode, and I am Tanner Dislin. And I am joined, as always, by my guy, my duo, Sam Godsey. And we are the N326 duo. Boy, it's a special episode today because I think finally we have figured this thing out and we are actually able to make a video for you guys and put this on YouTube. This is about attempt number 476. It has been a long
Episode
process.
attempt 3 for the day, I
Yeah,
believe.
attempt 3 for the day, let alone 476 since we first started this podcast. But it was supposed to be last week, and we actually recorded it in a similar style we are right now, but ended up with some technical difficulties. If you thought the audio sounded a little weird, that is why. But I think we fixed it. We took the necessary precautions, and I think we're good. So just pray that this is in fact the one. But Sam, how are we doing today?
If this works, I'll be doing great.
No, yeah, exactly.
Nah, it's good, man. We're working out all the kinks with the video pod. It's surprisingly not easy. We had to get new equipment, new setup. It's not Zoom. We're using new software now.
See that? Yeah, we're actually able to sit next to each other, a lot more comfortable, a lot more free, and we can even watch some games in the background here and react live
Yeah.
when there's some stuff going on.
I
So
mean, it was fun last week. Unfortunately, our
yeah,
listeners didn't
right.
get to
It was
witness the.
just trust us. It was a lot more fun to record when we were sitting next to each other. But whew. Back to sports. A lot going on right now. We always talk about it. The kind of this area where it seems like every single professional sport is playing, except for baseball. But
Thank God.
yeah, of course we got the chirps over here from Sam. But most notably, NFL playoffs are here. We had the divisional round this weekend. A lot of good games, a lot of good matchups. Some things surprising, some things not so surprising. So yeah, we'll get into that in this episode. But before we get there, we're going to start as we normally do, haven't in a while, but we're going to get back to winners and losers for today's episode. So Sam, go ahead and hit us with our winner.
Yeah, this name is kind of a name people haven't heard in a while, and that is my guy Imani Bates. Went absolutely bonkers last night against Toledo. Scored 29 straight points to end the first half for Eastern Michigan. I think guys had a couple points before the first TV timeout. And then from the first TV timeout, which is at like the 17 to 15 mark.
The under 16. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first whistle under 16 is when
Yeah.
you go to the first TV time.
And Imani Bates scored every point of the first half and said, not only that, but he also finished with 43 points, just going absolutely crazy. But yeah, Imani Bates had a great performance.
Yeah, just for context, 29 points is in college basketball. A lot of these NBA players are going for 50 like it's nothing nowadays.
Yeah.
But college basketball, 29 points is an awesome game. For reference, we're Iowa fans here. A lot of our listeners are Iowa fans. Chris Murray is the current best player on Iowa, their leading scorer. His career high is 32 points. Imani Bates scored 91% of his career high, not only in the first half, but in a row.
That's insane.
Let that sink
when
in.
you put it like that, that's
I know,
incredible.
It is absolutely crazy. And going for 43 on the night, and you said a name we haven't heard in a while. Headed to Memphis first, and that didn't work out. I think there was some. It was before the NIL stuff was approved, so I think there was some issues with that going on and whatnot. But he decided to go home, go back to Michigan, play with Eastern Michigan, and he's looking every bit the talent we thought he would be. Now, not wanting to get too deep into it, but has there been any chatter about him as a prospect? Like, is he still getting looks? Or
I mean, with a performance like that, it's hard not to. But like coming out of high school, he was being compared to like the next KD, which KD is unlike any player we've ever seen. So I think his draft stock took a major hit, seeing him struggle at Memphis, but I think it's picking up.
Definitely. I mean, how could it not? 29 points in a row again. At some point, I might just say it randomly, like just a reminder: 29 points in a row. It's absolutely absurd. But
But you know what's the saddest part about the whole thing?
what?
Eastern Michigan somehow managed to lose this game to
They lost.
Toledo, 84 to
The
79.
thing is, I knew that too when I saw it. We talked about it last night when I saw it. You had told me that, and to be honest, I completely forgot. When you said that,
Yeah,
I was expecting something else. But yeah, and they lost the game. Who'd they play? Yeah, I can't remember when you
Toledo.
said that. Toledo.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and they
Wow.
scored 79 points total as a team.
And he had 43 of them.
Yeah,
So was it 36?
yeah,
He scored by
that's
That's
tough.
a tough look for the teammates. But I mean, hey, if like he scored what percentage of their points in the first half? Like
Yeah,
95.
yeah,
So
exactly.
at least that went down.
Yeah,
So you got to give some credit to his
positives, baby.
teammates, right? But that is absolutely absurd. Can't believe it. So he deserves to be our winner. Hopefully he can build on that and get back to a top prospect in the going into the NBA. But switching over to the loser side of things, we had a couple we could go with. We were talking about Eli Apple
Of course.
possibly. He is acting a fool right now on Twitter. Absolutely insane. I mean, do you think he knows that the Bengals didn't win the Super Bowl
I
and
don't
that they
know.
actually have to win not only one but two more
Yeah,
games against obviously really freaking good teams to get there? And if Eli Apple, the cornerback, known for being absolutely torched constantly,
yeah,
currently has to play against like Travis Kelsey and that offense, and then whoever they play in the Super Bowl it's either Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk or AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. So you might want to keep your mouth shut because that has the incredible chance of blowing up in your face. But we decided to go somewhere else because it's still a scenario that I still can't believe happened, and I'm still just trying to wrap my head around it. And this is with Shannon Sharp, Sam. Surely you saw this,
oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So Shannon Sharp, the co-host with Skip Bayless of Undisputed, I believe
What
is the
duo?
right
Yep,
Undisputed.
undisputed.
He decided to go and see his the love of his life, his one true love, LeBron James, play against the Memphis Grizzlies at the Staples. Or no, what? It's not the Staples Center anymore. It's the Crypto Center.
Crypto.com?
Crypto
Something
at
with
the Staples
crypto.
Center. I'm calling it the goddamn Staples Center. So he's sitting courtside, and I think it's known within the NBA circle that the Grizzlies talk a lot of smack
Yeah,
during the game, and of course they were doing it to the Lakers, a team that on paper should be one of the better teams in the league. Uh, you know this. You know the story with the Lakers, so they're
yeah,
common for hate for smack talk.
yeah.
So he decided that would be a good idea to hop in and defend his boy, and he started talking to the Grizzlies, which again incredibly bizarre. And he's sitting courtside, so much so that I think it was either Desmond Bain or Dylan Brooks, whoever it was on
Yeah.
the Grizzlies, decided that you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to start talking back. So then he starts talking back, and then the whole team's getting involved. They're
Uh-huh.
trying to break up this scuffle between Shannon Sharp, a
Yeah.
media personality, sitting courtside, and the players.
Yeah.
And then of course, Steven Adams comes, the muscle, the
Mhm.
enforcer, which messing with Steven Adams seems like a very bad idea. But Shannon Sharp decided to do that anyway. And it seemed like it wasn't real life.
Yeah.
A media personality is literally getting in a scuffle with teams on the court.
Yeah, it seems like some straight out Hollywood. Very weird. I mean, we see your beloved Spike Lee at Knicks games talking, but Shannon Sharp took this to a whole
There
different
was
level.
anger. There was
There's
anger in those words.
and
You could tell.
I think the best part about it is what he is wearing. Did you
I mean, yeah, like he was wearing
just
like
like
that
the
parka or something.
parka and like a tight ass
Fighting
sweater?
material.
I'm like, come on. And like the one we were talking about this earlier. The one dude you wouldn't want to fight in the NBA or athletes in general is Steven Adams, and that's a one dude he managed to piss
Yeah, I
off.
was gonna say. I think the words I used when we were talking about this was I think he's a top 5
Yeah,
person who's not a professional combat athlete
yeah,
that I would not want to mess with.
yeah. There you
And
go.
probably some linemen in there, but Steven
Uh-huh.
Adams is high up
He's
there.
up there
He's very high up there,
for sure.
dude. And he just decided to piss him off.
Yeah.
I have no idea why, but again, super
So
weird.
so not only were players and a fan media personality involved, we also had some family members.
I totally forgot about T. Moran.
T. Moran.
So, like you said, not only is the media personality attacking players, he's going after family members of players. And after it, he said something like, "Oh,
We boys.
it's all love."
Yeah, it's all
Clearly
love.
It's not.
That's what it
Clearly,
was.
it's not.
Yeah. It's just
Absurd scenario.
very, very absurd
And now it begs
scenario.
the question, Sam: Is there a sports TV show taking more L's at the moment
No,
than Undisputed with
No.
Skip and Shannon?
absolutely
It's a clown
not.
show. It's an absolute clown show. Oh,
What
man.
a show.
Yeah.
What a show.
We're still processing ourselves, but before we get into our NFL talk for the past weekend, going to go with a quick ad, of course, to our sponsor, Anchor. Have you or your friends ever decided to start a podcast? Certainly we have, and that's exactly why we're here. And that's all thanks to Anchor. It is the easiest way to make a podcast. It has everything you need all in one place. It has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your own phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast and you can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, and so much more. Wherever you get your podcast, you can distribute it from Anchor. Excuse me. Reading is hard. It's just everything you need in one place. And you know what the best part is, Sam?
What?
It is completely free. That is huge when you're first starting out with a podcast. You usually don't have a huge budget to do so. So
Yeah.
Anchor is the absolute best way to go. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to go ahead and get started. How about that weekend of football?
Oh my God.
Did you enjoy?
I
was gonna say, well,
every part except the last bit.
First off, welcome to the club. But before we get there, we're going to go in chronological order here. We're going to start over in Kansas City with the Chiefs taking down the Jaguars 27-20.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what I expected. I mean, Chiefs took care of business. Obviously, the big question after this game is how healthy is Patrick Mahomes, because he is the reason this offense has been explosive not only this year but years past, as we've seen. So that is my main concern for the Chiefs right now. But Jacksonville looked good. I don't think the comeback against the Chargers was a fluke. I think they were legitimately the better team. They're just young. Got to get more experience. Trevor Lawrence, we saw him struggle, but then he got back on his feet, got to throwing the ball like we've seen throughout his career. But kind of the question surrounding this, obviously, is that Patrick Mahomes' defense. Fun fact of the day for you, Tanner. Saturday was Trevor Lawrence's first career Saturday loss. Absolutely insane.
Rip to an awesome record of just not losing on Saturday.
It's impressive.
That is incredible. So yeah, we'll definitely have a moment of silence for that one. But I kind of agree. I think my big take definitely, besides Mahomes' health, which is all anybody should be talking about from this game. But I was impressed with the Jags. They kind of took a huge shot to the mouth in the beginning of the game. Kansas City, I think, drove down, scored a touchdown on their first drive, and then got the ball back right away and scored again. So the resilience from Jacksonville was something that I was impressed with. Obviously, we knew they were a resilient team coming back from the huge deficit against the Chargers. And I think I agree with you. It really wasn't a fluke. I think what the fluke was Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 picks in the first half. And that's the reason you're down 27-0, right? So I don't think there's any reason why the Jaguars shouldn't rule the AFC South for
sure.
a decently long time. I guess there's,
as long as they have Trevor Lawrence.
I was going to say, at least maybe there are some things that can be improved in Tennessee, like if they get a better quarterback with the quarterback market currently in the offseason. But yeah, Jacksonville, I was impressed. They didn't get absolutely smoked, which was, obviously the important thing, because no one really thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
Kansas City, how healthy is Patrick Mahomes? The entire game, of course, shifted when he went out. Granted, Chad Henne, who came in for Patrick Mahomes, went on a 97-98
It like
drive.
was a record for the Chiefs.
97-98 yard drive, no problem. just shows you what good coaching can do. I mean, because Chad Henne was throwing the ball, yes, to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is awesome. He's the best
Yeah.
line in the league. But he was also throwing the ball to Juju Smith-Schuster, who's like fine. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a good wide receiver. He's throwing the ball to Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about this offense without Patrick Mahomes should scream this is an elite offense.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it. Like, that's
Andy
coaching.
Reid, baby.
That's coaching. That is execution, not even from a skill standpoint, but again, it goes back to coaching, right? You just
Yeah.
it is so such a refined system in Kansas City to where against the Jaguars, their backup can come in a playoff game. Not
Yeah.
this isn't a regular season game. In a playoff game, he can come in and lead a 98-yard drive to score. So impressive stuff from Kansas City. Got anything else with that game?
Yeah, it's the obviously I keep saying it, but how healthy is he continued to play after that one drive?
You
Questionable.
could see though he was trying to hand the ball
Oh
off.
my god, he could.
He was limping.
I thought we were gonna see another Donovan McNabb situation where we see Kelce and a couple linemen carrying him down the field.
Broken leg and he's playing football. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's what a gamer. First off, I mean, absolute warrior. No doubt in my mind he's gonna play. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind he's gonna play.
Yeah.
I've seen some clips at Chiefs practice. Looks like he's moving okay. I mean, if there was any cause for concern, there's no way that athletic training staff or their coaches would let him
Yeah, exactly.
walk. He'd be in a scooter if there was any concern for their injuries. So the fact that he's walking and actually participating in practice seems to be a pretty damn good sign. So
Yeah.
fully expect him to play, and I mean, probably be Patrick Mahomes.
Of course, Patrick Mahomes.
But yeah, kind of an uneventful start. Kind of went exactly how we thought. And another game that kind of went exactly how we thought. The nightcap that day, Eagles-Giants. The Eagles just absolutely pounded the Giants 38-7.
Yeah, pounded's a great word, especially when it came to that running game. 268 total rushing yards. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell had 112, Miles Sanders 90, Jalen Hurts 34, Boston Scott 32. Absolutely dominating in the trenches. And then if we want to look on the other side, see kind of where the Giants went wrong. 5 for 13 on third down, 0 touchdowns for their two biggest playmakers on offense, Daniel Jones and Barkley. Only 109 passing yards when Daniel Jones threw for 300 plus against your beloved Vikings, Tanner. Just absolutely dominating performance by Eagles.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone out there took advantage of the Boston Scott cheese. Sam, are you aware of the Boston Scott cheese?
I'm not.
So you know Boston Scott. You
of
read
course.
his name.
Yeah.
Third string running back for the Eagles.
Yeah.
How many touchdowns do you think Boston Scott has in his career?
How long has he been playing?
So I'll tell you how many games he's played in. He's played in 60 games.
60 games. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say 30.
Not quite that many. He plays a lot of backup role.
Yeah.
So he scored 16 touchdowns in his career.
Okay.
Of those 16, how many do you think are against the Giants?
Oh, no. 10.
11.
Oh, no.
11. Boston Scott is prime Barry Sanders when he plays
hilarious.
The New York Giants. When it is insane, so much so that like his anytime scored touchdown on sports books was significantly shorter this week when he played the Giants, and sure enough, he gets a touchdown. I mean, at this point, and how late that touchdown came, it definitely seems like an effort for the coaching staff to keep this going because they were just absolutely pounding the Giants into the ground. But hopefully you guys took advantage. Bet your Boston Scott anytime touchdown against the Giants.
That's hilarious.
Absolute domination.
Yeah.
Absolute domination. This game was a huge middle finger to me personally. I mean, you know why. Daniel Jones looked like Daniel Jones tonight in this game. Absolutely boils your blood as a Minnesota Vikings fan watching prime Mike Vick or the Vanilla Vick.
The Vanilla Vick. I like that.
Carve up your team like a hot knife through room temperature butter, baby. He was magnificent. And he struggled so much in this game. 135 yards passing, 24 yards rushing. He threw for over 300. Daniel Jones threw for over 300 like 3 times this season, and 2 of them were against the Vikings. Truly remarkable
That's
stuff. By the
awesome.
way, update. We're gonna get to more of this later when we talk about the offseason. Last time I said the date, and Ed Donatell was still defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. It is Wednesday, January 25th, and he is no longer the defensive
It's
coordinator for the
about
Vikings.
time.
So give it up. Give it up. I felt like posting the meme of Michael Jordan holding the
Yeah.
trophy and saying he's praying for times like this when
Yeah.
he's crying tears of joy. That's what happens when Ed Donatell gets fired by the Vikings.
Yeah.
And the icing on the cake was the score, 38-7, was the exact same score. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Minnesota Vikings in the 2017 NFC Championship game, 38-7. So this was a big middle finger, a big FU to Ed Donatell and the Minnesota Vikings of the past.
That's
But it was pure
funny.
domination.
Yeah,
Absolute pure domination.
no doubt.
Now it's where it gets good.
Yeah.
Now is where it gets good. The Sunday games.
Good for NFL fans. I don't know if I can say it went well for me in regards to the second game. And America, supposedly.
America loves when America's team loses.
Yeah, right?
Anyway, we'll start in the afternoon game.
Yep.
Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. Certainly was my favorite game of the week. It kind of disappointed when you look at the score.
If you look at the score,
It was a fun game, though.
It was fun.
A very fun
Very
game.
fun.
Cincinnati Bengals take down the Buffalo Bills on the road in Orchard Park, 27-10.
Yeah, we've kind of had this conversation throughout the latter half of the season, and that's Josh Allen with these turnovers. And look what happens in the playoffs when that happens. Josh Allen I don't know what has happened with him. I mean, he was head to head with Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league, and he is slowly rolling down the hill. But I mean, and a guy, in my personal opinion, has kind of passed him in that quarterback room or quarterback talk is Mr. Joe. And he looked as good as ever. 23 for 36, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Balanced offense attack for these Bengals. Joe Mixon kind of reviving, his season has kind of gone through ups and downs. 20 carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. Just dominating.
Totally. One way to not win a playoff game. There's actually multiple ways to not win a playoff game. Number 1, rush for 63 yards.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not a great way to win a playoff game. Number 2, go 4 for 12 on third down.
Yeah.
Not a good way to win a playoff game. Number 3, commit 8 penalties.
Yep.
4 times your opponent for 60 yards, which is almost 6 times your opponent. Guess what, Sam? Not a good way to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was for the Bills. It was just mistake after mistake. Josh Allen added another interception. You mentioned the turnovers.
Yeah.
Real big problem. And when you talk about the quarterback conversation, I think it's clear Joe Burrow has passed Josh Allen. Josh Allen is an elite talent. Sorry.
Get it right.
Has passed Josh Allen. Josh Allen is an elite talent. No one's debating that. But after his season last year, where he was very good, last year, and specifically in that game of the year type game, I think it was in the divisional round against Kansas City, we all kind of anointed him as, he's the second best quarterback. Look at the way he played. And we forgot about good old Joe Shiesty.
Yes, sir.
Who wins wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where. The Bayou Bengal in Louisiana is winning games in the snow in Buffalo for the actual Bengals.
Yeah.
Dude, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. Joe Burrow is him. He is a gamer. He is a winner, and he is damn good at football. He is damn good at football. So where do you go if you're the Bills? Because it seemed like this was your year. You're the preseason favorite, right? Where do you look to now?
Dude,
like what?
I mean, you kind of highlighted it. The rushing game. We're seeing Josh Allen is kind of their only option for offense. Passing game is what they rely on. And the more you throw, the more you're going to throw picks. So that's just how it is. I mean, that's Dak Prescott. But I think they need a.
Guess what? Can't throw a pick if you throw short of the sticks. Hey, y'all.
I mean, yeah, I think I think the big problem. I think their defense has a little bit of holes here and there, but the main thing you said, rushing attack. I mean, it's you have Singletary, but he can't. I personally don't think he's a running back one. That might be a controversial take, but I think they need to go after either a running back in the free agency or uh, get him through the draft.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely not a bad thing. When you have a dynamic runner of the football, it is so crucial to pair him up with another dynamic runner of the football. And oddly enough, that is talking about your running back versus your quarterback. But in Buffalo, it's flipped. Josh
Yeah.
Allen is a dynamic runner of the football.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Singletary's not.
Yeah.
Looks like James Cook might be able to. He's not there yet. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
A lot of things to figure out with that rushing game, and especially when you look on the other side of the ball. You mentioned that defense. In their defense, defense, big defense.
I see what you did
But
there.
in their defense, they're very injured this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, DeMar Hamlin not playing. With Micah Hyde got injured earlier in the
Yeah.
year. Von Miller getting injured earlier in the year. That is
A lot of injuries.
huge. Those are three pretty big names to not have on your, or at least two pretty big names to not have on your defense. So that stings, but you just can't get outgained the way they did
Yeah.
on the ground, especially when you fall down, which they did in this game. They fell down early. In that case, like why Minnesota was able to beat Buffalo is because when Buffalo went ahead, they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
As this game, they couldn't run the ball, so they had to pass the ball. Turnovers, incomplete passes, which stop the clock, saves a lot of time for that comeback. And that's what Buffalo wasn't able to do. But Cincinnati was able to run the ball no problem and salt this game away super, super easily.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Sam, I think I might have more on their running game situation in a little bit, maybe a little trade proposal.
Yeah.
Because they need an upgrade, and I think I know where an upgrade can come from. For the team
Yeah.
to shed some salary.
Yeah.
But a lot of mistakes, so many mistakes for Buffalo, and it just seems like a big old failure for this season. No?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Awful.
I mean, they were the team to kind of beat going into this season, and they fumbled.
Big time. Big time. And quite literally, because, again, they turn the ball over like it is nobody's business.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so definitely a failure for Buffalo. I mean, Cincinnati, they look as good as ever right now. I mean, we know what that offense can do, right? We know the weapons, the top two. When you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as your 1-2, that is as good as it gets.
That's scary.
And then you just add Tyler Boyd as your third
exactly.
so that is scary. Hayden Hurst, a good get on tight end. They have weapons everywhere. Joe Mixon has been a quality back in this league for a while. The offensive line looked like it was going to be a problem. Where the hell was this offense?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, granted, we talked about the injuries that happened to Buffalo's defensive line. So things will probably change in Kansas City. I mean, Chris Jones is as big of a game wrecker as anyone in the league right now. Maybe not Joe Bosa, but still, Chris Jones is that type of player.
Yeah.
And the offensive line is going to have a hell of a time stopping him against Kansas City. But I was so impressed with Cincinnati. That defense, they looked good against Baltimore, but it was Tyler Huntley. Hard to. The Ravens are vehemently against any sort of wide receiver. So they not a ton of weapons on that Baltimore offense, but obviously the Bills, we know they have weapons galore. Shut them down. That defense was awesome. Any more closing thoughts on this game?
No.
So, Sam, that leaves us the nightcap. You ready to talk about it?
I guess we have to, don't we, Tanner?
We sure do. In this game, the Cowboys traveled up to San Francisco to play the 49ers, and the 49ers won 19-12. So break this one down for us.
Yeah, man. I mean, To be honest, the first half looked great for the Cowboys. I mean, we looked dominant on defense, but unfortunately, like the story has been all season, we shot ourselves in the foot too many times. Dak obviously had those two crucial interceptions, one kind of on a drive in the second quarter. Another thing, rushing game was almost non existent. Zeke, 10 carries, 26 yards. In TP, obviously, injury affected his production, but 6 carries for 22 yards. Not capitalizing on big plays was another big part in this loss. With about 11 minutes left in the third, San Francisco muffed the punt. We got at the San Francisco 21, ended in a 25-yard field goal instead of 6 points. Because God knows Maher's not making a damn extra point. And then we can talk about the last seconds of the game later. But I think the defense looked absolutely dominant in this one. Just got kind of worn out. I mean, we held Christian McCaffrey to 35 yards and a touchdown. Debo Samuel to 11 yards rushing, 45 yards receiving, no touchdowns. Brock Purdy, no touchdowns. So looking at this game, obviously I'm frustrated. It's kind of been the story of the Cowboys season all year, just shooting ourselves in the foot too much.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I just want to read you some numbers. I mean, these are the numbers I'm about to read are they're the point totals for the San Francisco 49ers in their most recent games. Their 7 most recent games. They scored 41, 38, 37, 37, 21, 35, 33 in those most recent 7 games.
Yeah.
That is about as high powered an offense as an offense
Yeah,
gets,
right.
right? And their lowest point total was 21, and then their next lowest beyond that was 33. And you held them to 19.
Yeah.
I mean, that is ridiculous play from your defense. You mentioned all the weapons that San Francisco has that you held in check.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line is Dak needs to be better,
Yeah.
right? This has been a problem of him having games where he does not look good. Turnovers, a huge thing. You said they were driving. I mean, that also directly led to a San Francisco field goal before half. That's a
Yeah.
6-point swing, provided Brett Maher makes a field goal. But still, that's a 6-point swing. He also missed an extra point today, which he should be thankful that it was blocked,
Yeah.
because if that's not blocked, that thing's going. That's his most embarrassing one of the stretch,
Uh-huh.
going way, way left. But yeah, missed opportunities on the offensive end is an absolutely fantastic way to say it. Uh, yeah, and that's the conversation we should be having, but it's seemingly not the conversation that a lot of people are having
Yeah.
because of the last drive. And surely we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
dive into
Yeah.
this a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, what the hell happened? React to it for me.
It's plain stupidity. I mean, I don't know how you see Dalton Schultz forget the rules of football.
2 mistakes
Yeah.
that drive. Two. I mean, it's just lazy. It's
Yeah.
physically lazy to not get your other foot in, and he was so lackadaisical on the sideline, and then mentally lazy to just kind of like give up and not know the rule that
Yeah.
you have to be going forward out of bounds for the clock to stop. Those are
Uh-huh.
huge plays.
Yeah. I mean, and then obviously that that last play, creative. I'll give Mike credit on that. Did it work? Hell no. I get the premise. You want. I would understand it more if we just load up on skill position players, but there's still linemen out
Yeah,
there.
dude. That again. I think that's interesting. If you need a pretty long lateral play where you just get wide receivers, running backs all across,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, let's get a bunch of skill guys, get them the ball. We need shiftiness, we need speed, yada yada yada. Like you said, they were linemen like split out wide.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm kind of shocked the snap went
Yeah,
well,
I know.
but
I thought
an
for sure
inexperienced
Zeke was
center
gonna send it
over his head right into the ground, something like that. I mean, he got pile drove into the earth's
Oh my
crust
god, poor
on
guy.
that play. Super underrated. Also, we keep talking about Zeke, but I mean, it's a lateral play, and who Dak threw the ball to got lit up instantly. He didn't
Yeah.
even have time to catch it and lateral it.
Uh-huh.
That's just how big of a colossal failure this is.
Yeah.
I do want to know personally. I mean, was this Mike McCarthy's play? Was
Yeah.
this offensive
Kellen
coordinator
Moore.
Kellen Moore's play?
Yeah.
Like, whose play was this?
It was bad,
um,
regardless of who it was.
yeah, and hopefully they burned it. But that's an interesting conversation. As we look forward with this Cowboys team, where do things stand? I just want
Yeah.
to get what's your state of everything. Obviously, there are a lot of rumors circling on the coaching.
Yeah.
Give me your top three things that you want to see happen. Either they need to improve units, they need to improve moves, they need to make in order to improve next season, and I mean contend next season, which
Yeah.
you were contending this season, but it seems like you got to beat the Eagles in your division. So how do you do
Yeah.
that?
So I'll kind of start off with the coaching. I know that's kind of a hot topic right now, especially with that last couple plays. I think we try and keep them all. I really do. I don't think if you would have told me earlier in the season when Dak Prescott went down, we'd lose in the divisional round to the hottest team in the NFL, I would be shocked. So Mike
A game in
McCarthy,
which you were not favored. By the
yeah.
way, you're supposed to lose this game, but go ahead.
So Mike McCarthy, I'm there's questions throughout the season as with every coach, but I think he sticks around. I'd love to see Dan Quinn stick around. I know
It's the big ticket item.
he's getting a lot of offers. I know Arizona's really interested in bringing back for a second interview. He was in the names for Broncos, but they're kind of leaning towards Sean Payton. And then Kellen Moore, who I don't know if you've looked at it, but he has produced a very prolific offense throughout the season. We were looking at the scores earlier.
Number 4 in points per
Yeah.
game, by the way.
Number 4, I would love to keep him around, obviously. With a successful coordinator, you're going to get looked at head coaching vacancies. He's getting looked at for that Panthers one. I think he has a better chance of coming back than Dan Quinn. I mean, Dan Quinn led one of the best defenses. So that
He
is
also
kind of
led the Falcons to a Super Bowl as a head
this
coach.
is true. But probably the worst loss in Super
Okay,
Bowl
well, we
history.
don't need to talk about that.
But so that's kind of where I'm at with the coaching situation now when it comes to just the personnel. Obviously, big question heading into this offseason is whether the Cowboys stick with Zeke or do they go with a much younger kind of prove it guy, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is a free agent. I think he's going to want big money as he deserves. I think he played phenomenal for the Cowboys this year. Um, I'd love to keep him. I don't think it's a really tough situation because we don't have the room for both of them. I would personally, if it was up to me, I'd keep Tony Pollard. I think he's more adapted. I don't know. Yeah, let's go with that. To today's game, he can be involved. He can line up in kind of a Christian McCaffrey role. That's a good way to put it.
It's
And Zeke is a running back.
right. It's the W word.
Yeah,
He's a weapon.
yeah,
It's a weapon. Obviously, running backs. But when you have someone who's so good on the ground, so good through the air, he's just a flat out weapon, as you said, Christian McCaffrey role.
yeah,
Those people are valuable.
yeah. And then kind of the third is get Dak some goddamn weapons.
Yeah.
You have
True.
CD, TP, and Zeke pretty much one dimensional. So get him another. I mean, we had Gallup. Gallup played up and down all year, had an injury, obviously, but get CD, Dak some help.
I was gonna say. I mean, I don't even think Zeke is a weapon for Dak.
Yeah,
First off, you can have the debate on whether or not he's a weapon, but he's certainly not for the quarterback. He doesn't catch the ball.
yeah,
And Michael Gallup, again, fine wide receiver. Kind of getting in the minutia of the words here, but I wouldn't even. Yeah, not a weapon, maybe a piece.
yeah.
He's a fine piece as like a
He's
wide
good
receiver
wide.
three.
Yeah, 3.
Right. He's a piece. He's not a weapon. You just need weapons. And CeeDee Lamb's incredible. Tony Pollard's incredible. Keeping those guys in house, adding one more to that seems like you have the makings of a
Yeah,
very prominent offense. Yeah, that's. I mean, that is good. That is a big thing right now with the Cowboys. Play game.
All right.
This game is called Which Coach?
Okay.
Okay. So surely you know who one of the two answers is
Okay.
going to be. So the blind resume number one. I'm going to give you two. So blind
Okay.
resume number one. Coach one. 61.4 win percentage.
Okay.
11 winning seasons. 7 division titles. 11-9 playoff record. 1 Super Bowl.
Okay.
Coach two. 60.7 win percentage. 11 winning seasons. 4 division titles. 11-9 playoff record. 1 Super Bowl. I'll go category by category now.
Okay.
So win percentage, coach one, 61.4, coach two, 60.7.
Okay.
Obviously, coach
Coach
one has that.
one. Yeah.
11 winning seasons to 11 winning seasons.
Even.
7 division titles for coach one, 4 division titles
Okay.
for coach two. Coach one. 11-9 playoff record versus 11-9 playoff record.
Split.
1 Super Bowl to 1 Super Bowl.
Okay. I mean, I'd go with Coach one,
Pretty
obviously.
comparable.
Yeah.
Right?
Very comparable.
Coach one is Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
So the one we chose is Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
And he is better, if not, or his resume is better, if not comparable to John Harbaugh. Is the
No
second
way.
name. A pretty commonly known as a very good coach.
Yeah.
And look at those numbers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
That's not even the best one. Blind resume number two.
Okay.
So I'll go instead of giving them
Yeah.
by person,
Just
I'll
do.
just go category by category.
That works.
Win percentage. Coach one, 57.5.
Okay.
Coach two, 47.3.
Okay.
Coach one, 3 winning seasons. Coach two, 1 winning season. Coach one, 2 division titles. Coach two, 0 division titles. Coach one, 2-2 playoff record. Coach one, 1-2 playoff record.
Okay. I'd go with Coach one again.
I mean, this one's even worse than the other.
Yeah.
57.5 to 47.3. 3 winning seasons to 1. 2 division titles to 0. 2-2 playoff record. 1-2 playoff record.
Yeah.
Coach one is Mike McCarthy without Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
Coach two is Bill Belichick without Tom Brady.
No shit. Wow. That's crazy.
Interesting, isn't it?
Because usually
Interesting.
the thing with McCarthy is he kind of got carried by Rodgers.
Interesting. Which this second one, I will say, may not be entirely apples to apples because McCarthy was fired and went to a new position.
This is true.
While Tom Brady left, so it kind of entered a couple rebuild years for
Yeah.
the Patriots that McCarthy didn't have to go through. But still, the point is still there. They're like, this guy can coach.
Yeah.
This guy can coach. We talked about how prolific his offense was. A few mistakes, and obviously Mike McCarthy didn't throw the interception.
Yeah.
A few mistakes away from possibly winning that game and playing in the NFC Championship against, like you said, the highest team in football.
Yeah.
So I tend to agree. I think Mike McCarthy's getting a little bit of a hard, a little bit of a tough go with these results, and yeah, I'd keep him around too.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Cowboys. What about your Vikings, man?
See,
there's a lot of questions with their
that's the
offseason.
problem right now. There are so many ways this team can go. So I think number one, what do I want to see? A plan. I want to see a plan because you can do a few things here. You totally can continue to sign people to extensions, kick money down the road, restructure some contracts, as you said, finagle some cap room, bring in a new defensive coordinator, make things look a little bit better schematically on defense, and just play the same game.
Yeah.
Play the same game you just did. You have an aging roster. That is a fact. You have an expensive roster and you have an old roster. You can continue to do that and continue to be in win now mode when, if you take away the record, obviously the record's the only thing that matters in football, so it's kind of hard to do that. But if you take away and just look at the advanced stats on this team, it doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
It does not look very good. And if you put last year and this year advanced stats side by side, nothing really changed.
Really?
One team won 13 games.
That's wild.
It's hard to imagine anything can go much better than this year.
Yeah.
From a luck standpoint. Things go your way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to imagine more things go your way next year than this year. Oh, and now you play a division winner schedule.
Yeah.
All
Yikes.
4 teams playing next weekend, that being the 49ers, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Bengals, are on the Vikings schedule next year.
Oh,
All 4.
that's brutal.
All 4. It's bad. And of the 6, or no, excuse me, the 8 division winners, I think 5 are on the
Nice.
Vikings schedule.
So
4
easy schedule for y'all
Yeah,
next year.
it's a real easy schedule. So when you put together everything, it's really hard to see how this team has any success
Yeah.
next year if you take this route.
Yep.
Obviously, the other option, trade away or cut some of your veteran players. Kirk Cousins is under contract for next year. If you take some stuff away, and you trot out Kirk Cousins with that schedule, I don't even think you need to like tank, because that's called the natural tank, right? Where you just get absolutely blown out
Yeah.
because you're just worse. Your schedule's really hard. Not to mention your division, where the Packers looked like a pretty decent football team in the second half of the
Second
year.
half. Yeah.
Another year, presumably Rodgers with another year of his wide receivers,
Yeah.
also not battling his injury anymore. That team's going to be better.
Absolutely.
The Lions,
Yeah.
second hottest team in football
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end of the regular season,
For
behind
sure.
the 49ers. Like, it's such a difficult schedule. So the natural tank would happen if you do this. Now, in my opinion, I think there's one thing making this decision hard. One thing and one thing only. Or thing. One person and one person only. Do you know who that person is?
I'm going to go Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Because your organizational goal right now is one thing and one thing only. Keep 18 in purple.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Can you go to him and say, Justin, we realize this team is not going to win. So if you want to be like your buddies in Cincinnati, your college teammates in Cincinnati, we're going to have to lose some games and move on from Kirk. We're going to have to draft somebody. We're going to have to develop somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he'll go for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Frankly, I can't put words in his mouth, but pretty difficult to sell him on that. We just almost eclipsed 2,000
Right,
yards
exactly.
in a season. So, again, if Justin Jefferson wasn't here, now this is a good problem to have. I'm not saying I don't want Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
That's not the case at all. But this is a good problem to have. But now you can't really just like tank a year in his prime because of everything I just said. And your roster is expensive. You have awful contracts at not very valuable positions. A prime candidate to not be in Minnesota next year, Dalvin Cook. He shouldn't be in Minnesota next year. Talk about weapons versus running back. You don't pay running backs, you pay weapons. He's unfortunately not a weapon. He's a running back. Was a good running back.
Yeah.
Still is a good running back. Is a good running back. Tell me there's not a team to take a flyer on him. I mentioned the trade. Buffalo. Their running game is non-existent.
Yeah.
His brother is on the team. You don't think they would maybe try and make a trade? Doesn't have to be much. It won't be much because he's an old, expensive running back.
Yeah.
But he's a hell of an upgrade of what they have now. Tell me they wouldn't make that trade with
Yeah.
space they have? Of course they would. So maybe you try and finagle something that way. Adam Thielen's another one. I think his wife posted on Instagram that he was unhappy with his usage. He was in the top 30th. Top 30%, or no. Top 30, not percent, but top 30 wide receivers targeted this year, Adam Thielen. And of those top 30, he was like 29 of 30 in like PFF grade.
Yeah.
So output based on targets, he was bad.
He
is old. He is slow. He's just not really that good anymore.
Yeah.
Eric Kendricks, Harrison Smith. These are bad scheme fits on your defense. They had terrible years.
Yeah.
A lot of money in old players who are bad or who are playing bad now. Are not what they used to be. I don't want to say that was a little aggressive. They're not bad, but they're not what they used to be.
Yeah.
And schematically, it doesn't work. And moving on from those players who are starters, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you keep Kirk Cousins long term and this cap hit, continue pushing money down the road, not only do you need to replace these guys, but you need to get better. because
Yeah.
clearly this defense was not good enough. And I don't think you can do that when you have the cap hit that Kirk Cousins has. So that is a long-winded answer of their options. I could talk about this all day, so I apologize. Long-winded answer, but number one, they need a plan.
Yeah.
Number two, when you have a roster that's everything I just imagined, you have to nail your drafts.
Yeah.
And year one, as it stands right now, this could always change. Year one is a colossal failure. I'm not sure there was a team that had a worse draft than the
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings. Um, Number one overall draft pick. He broke his leg in week like 4, so kind of hard. But he was currently as it stood at the time he broke his leg. He was a special teams player and the fourth string safety on the defense
Ooh,
that we saw.
that's tough.
So clearly you don't value him that much if he's your fourth string safety. And he had a chance to play. Harrison Smith missed week 2,
Yeah.
and he had a chance to be elevated and play in that safety role. They chose someone else over him. So
Oof.
hard to see the coaching staff high on this kid.
Yeah.
Lewis Seen is his name. Your second rounder, Andrew Booth Jr., the cornerback, hurt all year, played some, was absolutely unplayable. He didn't get to go through camp, so I get it. You can see where that can change, but he was absolutely unplayable. He's horrible, awful,
Yeah.
terrible. Your third round pick, Ed Ingram, right guard, he was one of the worst linemen in the NFL this year by PFF grade.
Yeah.
He was awful. He simply cannot pass protect. He's better at run protect, but he's just bad.
Yeah.
He's just bad. Awful start to the year from him. Now, he probably will get better. Is he a serviceable lineman? Don't know. He was really bad this year. And your fourth round draft pick, another guy who had 3 concussions this year.
Oh,
3.
that's
And I
not
think
good.
he had a couple in college too. So now health is a concern. The draft was horrible.
It
Absolutely
sounds
terrible.
like it.
You can't do that again. You can't do that again. And keep in mind, they traded back multiple times. They had 14. They drafted the safety at 32.
Yeah.
They traded back. The best safety on the board was at 14, and they passed.
Oof.
Kyle Hamilton went to Baltimore, impact player. Be one thing if you didn't want a safety,
Yeah.
but you took a safety anyway.
Yeah.
Just
Oof.
seemed like he tried to galaxy brain it and made terrible decisions that just didn't end up working. So number 2 is you absolutely have to nail the draft. And number 3, I said it, whatever you do, it has to be to keep Justin Jefferson in
Absolutely.
purple.
Yeah.
You can't have another Randy Moss. He can't have another Stephon Diggs. He needs to be a Larry Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
where he stays here and he is a staple in Minnesota. You just
Yeah.
absolutely have to
I
have
mean,
it that way.
Yeah. I mean, that it'd be dumb to let him walk.
Yeah, you have to keep him happy. And everything you do, I don't know if it's conversations with him. I don't know if you just, but you have to make decisions based on what you think is in the best interest of keeping Justin Jefferson here long term.
Absolutely.
So that's my very long answer. I could talk about this crap all day long. I think your answer maybe is a little bit easier. Your situation,
Yeah.
I guess, is a little bit easier
For
to
sure.
see the future because there's so many moving parts. And also, the Vikings weren't that damn good this year, okay?
Yeah.
Like, fact of the matter. But everything I just said, it's real hard to ask a first-year head coach who's, again, coaching for his job, wants to see results after he wins 13 games. We're going to take all your weapons away.
Yeah.
But, I don't envy Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, the Minnesota GM, to have to make that decision. But that's kind of where I see the offseason going, man. Any final thoughts on what you think?
No, I mean, the thing I'm looking at with obviously the Cowboys is, can we keep Dan Quinn? That's kind of my big that's 1A, and then obviously 1B. Do we keep it with Zeke and let TP go, or do we keep TP and let Zeke go? That's kind of my number 2 concern. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited for this offseason.
Definitely. And everything I just mentioned, also, they don't have a defensive coordinator yet.
This is true.
You got to do that. You got to do that. So maybe I take out Justin Jefferson because that's implied. Number 3, get a damn defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But that's going to wrap it up for episode 80 here, man. Hopefully this all worked out and we have a YouTube video, we have audio, and we can move on as planned. But it was a great episode. I enjoyed it. We got a lot of football left this weekend. Championship games should be awesome. 4 best teams made it. and I
Yeah,
could not be
the
looking.
committee got it right.
Was that
The
the
committee got
committee got it right?
it
The
right.
committee finally got it right. Could not be looking forward to that more. But yeah, so any final thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Excited.
Excited. So am I, man. You can follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at crunchtime_pod. You can follow the YouTube. What's the YouTube channel?
Crunch time with the
Crunch
N326
Time with the
duo.
N326 Duo.
Subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what you thought.
Should be easy to remember that one. But you can follow each of us. You can follow Sam at.
Yeah, on Twitter, you can follow me at SamGodsey29 and Instagram, Sam_Godsey21.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TDislin22. But thanks for making it to the end of this episode. We greatly appreciate you guys. As always, the clock has run out on this episode, but we'll see you in the next one on Crunch Time.
Word.